How many games did you buy this year that you didn't play? I went way overboard with the games that I bought, especially when it came to solo-based games, because I thought with COVID I would have all this time to play solo games while my group was not meeting. So today I'm going to be going over my top 10 games that I bought but didn't play. Now, don't get me wrong, there are more than these. There are a lot more games that I bought and did not play this year, but these are the 10 that I most wanted to play but never ended up getting to the table. Number 10, Etherfields. Now this feels like it might be kind of cheating because Etherfields just arrived about 2 weeks ago for me. While I have sorted it, I have painted some of the figures, I have not actually gotten it to the table. And I actually plan to over the next couple days while I'm on Christmas break. This is going to be the next game that I knock out, and I hope to be able to actually play through the entire campaign over the next month or so. But when this is one of my most anticipated games of the year, I expected to be able to just get it right to the table. But as always happens with campaign games and me, I ended up getting it, looking at it, loving it, and never actually playing it. My number 9 is Robinson Crusoe. I liked the idea of this game so much that I went ahead and got the Mystery Tales expansion before even playing the base game. Now some of you might say that's exactly what you do, some of you might think I'm insane. Either way, I already know that this is going to be a game that I love. I have watched playthroughs, I have watched other reviews, I have watched previews. I know I'm going to like this game. I have just been so enamored with other games that I have not actually gotten this one to the table yet. I love the idea of doing mini campaigns in this game where you are sort of trying to survive while trying to reach an objective, whether that's King Kong or to rescue somebody from a boat or any other number of things that are included in these two games. Mystery Tales actually has an entire campaign with it. Since story is one of the main things that drives me to games, this is a no-brainer. Robinson Crusoe is the story game. So, I'm hoping to be able to get this out over the next few months, but it's one of those that's just been staring me in the face every time I look at my shelf saying, play me, and then I pull something else out. Number 9, Robinson Crusoe. My number 8 is Paladins of the West Kingdom. Now this is a game that I ended up picking up because it was on sale. Amazon had it for $30, so I grabbed it. I have never played any of the West Kingdom games. I've never played Architects. I have played Raiders of the Lost Sea. I think that's what it's called. The app version, whatever the app one is. I have played that on my phone, but that's the only experience with any of these kind of games that I've had. I didn't even necessarily want this game, but I got it for 2 reasons. One, it was on sale. Can't pass up a sale. This hobby, man, just sucks all my money. The other reason that I wanted this game was because it always pops up on solo game recommendations. I've not played it. I actually have a unboxing of it on my channel, so if you are interested in that, check it out. And yeah, I don't know if I will ever get to this to the table, but I'm hoping one day to actually sit down with it, try it out, and hopefully enjoy it as a solo game. Number 7 for me is Underwater Cities. Underwater Cities is a game that I picked up without knowing much about it, other than the fact that people always say that if you love terraforming Mars, then you should get this game. So when I saw it at Miniature Market, while I was there at the storefront, I went ahead and grabbed it. And I know that the community is torn on that. I know that there are a lot of people who want to love this game because they like terraforming Mars, but it's different enough that they didn't. I know that there are a lot of people that say that it scratches the same itch as terraforming Mars, while being a separate game. All I know is that it looked interesting. I love terraforming Mars, so I grabbed Underwater Cities. But I'm really hoping I enjoy this game. If you've played Underwater Cities, let me know what you think about it in the comments. Number 6, A Feast for Odin. This is a game that I have pulled out on 2 separate occasions, looked at it, and then put it away. I want to play this game, but I have actually had a friend tell me that they want to teach it to me. We just haven't gotten around to it yet. So, while it looks like a game that I might enjoy, I haven't been a huge fan of Uwe Rosenberg games in the past. I've not been a huge fan of Agricola. I'm not a huge fan of Caverna. There's a lot of these kinds of games that I don't really like. I got this in a trade, and I just couldn't pass it up for the deal. So, I'm hoping that I enjoy this. I'm hoping to get it out one day. But for now, it's going to sit on that shelf, stare at me, and say, I wish that you had more friends. So, A Feast for Odin. I love the theme. I love Vikings. Man, that box art makes me want to play it. Just Vikings having fun. And then I turn it over and see that, and I'm like, I don't really know if I ever actually want to pull this out. But hey, friend, if you want to come over and actually teach it to me someday, maybe when COVID's over, let me know, and we'll get it done. My number 5 is a game that I ended up trading because I read the rules. No, my number 5 is a game that I ended up trading. I'm going to, right here, put an image of it, and that game is On Mars. This is a game that I ended up getting in a math trade. I traded it online and wanted to love it. The art is beautiful. The components are amazing. Probably the best components I've seen in a game in a long time. It's vibrant, it's colorful, it's pretty to look at. I pulled it out, I read the rules once, didn't end up playing it, and then went back about a month later to try and play it again, and realized I had no idea what the rules were saying the first time. I didn't want to read them again, and that this is going to be way too heavy of a game for me. It's not really going to be a game that I want to play solo. It's not a game that I want to pull out with friends, because I don't have friends that like games of this caliber. So I went ahead and sold it, or actually I traded it. I actually traded it for my next game, my number 4. Now, as far as space themes go, or future themes, time, space, continuums, all these different things, this seems like it is the game to play. I have read that it is amazing solo, it's a great game to play as a group, but I just have not actually gotten it to the table yet. I'm hoping to eventually, but I want those miniatures. I do not have the miniatures that go with it, and I feel like if I just had those, I might actually pull this out. Now that's probably just my collector's side saying, you gotta go get it. And I know myself well enough that if I get those miniatures, that they're going to sit in a box right next to this and not actually get played. But I'm hoping to be able to get those one day. Not super expensive, and actually play this, because it looks amazing. I want to play it, I want to love it. Really, I just haven't wanted to spend the time to learn it. I've been learning so many other games that this will get to the table one day. This is not a game that I'm going to trade away. So, my number 4, Anachrony. Next, I have a game that I picked up solely for solo. This is always at the top of the list, and my number 3 is Aeon's End. I am a huge fan of deck builders, and as far as I have read, Aeon's End is the deck building game. It's different enough to be worthwhile. You're fighting these giant creature monster guys, trying to defeat them, which is one of my favorite things. These monster hunter type things, where you are going against a bad guy. It's you versus them. Whether that's Kingdom Death, Marvel Champions, any other number of games, I love that mechanic. And Aeon's End has that, with a couple different guys in this base game, and I already look forward to getting the expansions. I look forward to getting all of this because I know that it's a game that I'm going to enjoy. I have just been playing Marvel Champions so much that when I want to pull out a card game, I usually want to pull out something that I already know how to play. So I just haven't gotten around to learning this. It doesn't look complicated at all. It actually looks fairly easy, and I do look forward to it. One day. But that day is not today. Aeon's End, my number 3 game that I have bought and not played this year. Number 2 is the Taverns of Tiefenthal. I think I'm saying that right. The Taverns of Tiefenthal is a game where you have a pub. You are working to feed and give drink to your patrons that are coming in. And this is one of those games that I bought because I thought my wife would enjoy it. And she said she wants to play it. She looks interested in it. It does not look super complicated. She loves dice rolling type games. I'm not a major fan of Ameritrash type stuff, but I like it well enough that I'll play it. And so I got this for us to play, but then when we play a game, we're always playing something different. We just haven't gotten around to this yet. We will eventually, but we just haven't yet. I might actually try to pull it out soon and play it by myself so that I can learn it. Again, it's not one that looks super complicated. It has the different modules, or I guess they call it expansions in it, that just seem to make it a complete game. Whereas the base game is kind of boring from what I've read. The modules or the expansions make it more complete. So I might just go full in, learn it all, so that I can actually sit down and say, hey, I know how to play this. Let's play. But until that day comes, the Taverns of Tiefenthal is going to stay on my shelf, stare at me, and say, learn me. My number 1 game that I bought this year is one that I have been looking forward to getting for a long time, but never had the group to play it with. I've never had the people that would want to play it. So I said, screw it. And I went out and I bought Root. But I didn't just buy Root. I bought Root. I bought the Clockwork expansion. I bought the Underworld expansion. I bought it all. I got as much Root as I possibly could. Now granted, I went to the Miniature Market storefront. They had the Clockwork expansion and the Underworld expansion on sale, half off. So it just seemed like the perfect time to grab them. Now, this is a game that I have played the app, and I've played the app enough to know that I want this game. I know I'm going to like it. I have learned the factions. Obviously, I need to reread some of the rules because they play a little bit different than the app. But I know the basics. I've watched playthroughs, and Root is a game that I will love. But I don't know if anybody else that plays in my group is going to love it. I don't know yet if my wife is going to like it. With the asymmetry that goes on in this game, I can see where others in my group will get overwhelmed, which is why I wanted this. I'd never picked up Root because it's a $60 game, and the Clockwork expansion that gives you solo play, well, a better solo play than the base game, is another $40. So for me, that would have been $100 just to be able to play this decently solo. Well, officially, since the Clockwork expansion was sort of taken from the Better Bot Experience, Better Bot something that's on BGG, whatever it is. I knew that if I ever got this game that I needed the Clockwork expansion. So when I saw them on sale, I couldn't pass it up and grabbed everything that I could. I look forward to the Militant expansion in the future that is going to be more focused on the 2-player experience and what that brings to the table. And I will get everything else for it eventually. There's something about woodland creatures that fascinates me. Everdell is one of my favorite games that I've played this year. I play it solo all the time. I play it... Ooh, that might have given away a spoiler for my next video. The top 5 games that I have played solo this year, which will be coming out within a week or two. So make sure to subscribe so that you can see what those 5 games are and why I have liked them so much. So I look forward to getting Root to the table. All these little creatures, these maps, just everything that it gives is everything that I love about gaming. So those are my top 10 games that I bought and did not play this year. Go ahead and leave comments below letting me know what games you bought, look forward to playing, but have not gotten to the table yet. Until next time, thank you, and game on.